Good day, everyone. So we will now continue the lecture for the first chapter, which is soil formation. So in the previous video, we discussed about the soil and its constituents, the weathering of rocks and types of soils. And now we will discuss the description and identification of soil using ASTM D2488 and the mineralogy of soil solids. So, the description and identification of soil using visual manual procedure or ASTM D2488 is used to provide us a rough appraisal of the soil for engineering purposes. And if ever a precise classification of soil is needed, we could use the various classification systems such as the USCS. But we will discuss that in the succeeding chapters. So, there are some definitions used in this test method. First are cobbles. So cobbles are particles of rock that will pass a 12-inch or 300 mm square opening and be retained on a 3-inch or 75 mm sieve. And on the other hand, we have boulders, which are particles of rock that will pass a 12-inch or 300 mm square opening. So note that the cobbles and boulders are particles which are retained in a 3-inch or 75 mm US standard sieve. So next is we have clay. So clay, it is a soil that will pass a number 200 or 75 micrometer sieve that can be made to exhibit plasticity. So, within a range of water contents and that exhibits considerable strength when turned dry. Next, we have gravel. So, these are particles of rock that will pass a 3-inch or 75 mm sieve and be retained on a number 4 or 4.75 mm sieve. So, gravel is further divided into coarse and fine. So, coarse, this passes a 3-inch or 75 mm sieve and is retained on a 3/4 inch or 19 mm sieve. So, for the fine, this passes a 3/4 inch or 19 mm sieve and is retained on a number 4 or 4.75 mm sieve. Next, we have organic clay, which is a clay with sufficient organic content to influence the soil properties. So, for classification, an organic clay is a soil that would be classified as a clay, except that its liquid limit value after oven drying is less than 75% of its liquid limit value before oven drying. So, in the next chapter, we will discuss about these Atterberg limits. So, one of those limits is the liquid limit. So, next we have the organic silt. So, this is a silt with sufficient organic content to influence the soil properties. Next we have peat. So, this is a soil composed primarily of vegetable tissue in various stages of decomposition. And usually it has an organic odor and a dark brown to black color, and is also spongy. It also has a spongy consistency, and its texture ranges from fibrous to amorphous. Next, we have sand. So, these are particles of rock that will pass a number 4 or 4.75 mm sieve and be retained on a number 200 or 75 micrometer sieve. So, sand has the following subdivisions. We have the coarse, medium, and fine. So, coarse sand passes a number 4 or 4.75 sieve and is retained on a number 10 or 2 millimeter sieve. So, for medium sands, they pass a number 10 or 2 mm sieve and is retained on a number 40 or 425 micrometer sieve. So, fines, lastly, they pass the number 40 or 425 micrometer sieve and is retained on a number 200 or 75 micrometer sieve. Lastly, we have silt, which is a soil passing a number 200 or 75 micrometer sieve, and that is non-plastic or very slightly plastic, and that exhibits little or no strength when air dry. So, in conducting this, the visual manual procedure, we will be needing a pocket knife or spatula. So, some useful auxiliary apparatus includes a small test tube with stopper or jar with lid and a small hand lens. And for the reagents, we will be needing water and the hydrochloric acid. So, next is the preparation of sample and test specimen. So first, the sample should be obtained by an appropriate, accepted, or standard procedure. So, those procedures may be ASTMD 1452, ASTMD 1587, ASTMD 2113, and ASTMD 1586. So those are the auger borings, the thin wall tube, the rockford drilling, and penetration test and split barrel sampling respectively. So next is the sample shall be carefully identified as the origin. And third, for each maximum particle size, we have the minimum specimen size in dry weight. So, for example, if the maximum particle size is 4.75 mm, the minimum dry weight of the specimen should be 100 grams, and so on for the rest of the maximum particle sizes. So, we also have to include an appropriate remark if the sample is smaller than the minimum required amount. So, now we will proceed with the description information for soils. So, first is we have angularity. So, we will be describing the angularity of the sand for coarse sizes only, the gravel, cobbles, and boulders. So, we will describe that as angular, subangular, subrounded, or rounded. So Figure 3 um, provides a reference for the description. So we have the rounded, angular, subrounded, and subangular. And Table 1 presents the criteria for describing the angularity of the coarse-grained particles. Next is the shape. So you will have to describe the shape of the gravel, cobbles, and boulders as flat, elongated, or flattened, elongated. So the criteria is provided by table 2. So in the dimensions, so our greatest dimension is the length, the intermediate direction is the width, and the least dimension is the thickness. So if the width over thickness is greater than 3, so we can classify that as flat. If the length over width is greater than 3, we can classify that as elongated. And if it meets both the criteria, we can classify that as flat and elongated. So next is the color. So we should take note of the color of the soil. And also, we have to state if the sample is dry or moist. So this is because some soils varies in color depending on their moisture content. So one soil, particularly clay, we have encountered that during our research for our undergraduate study. So we are using the kaolin clay, which is very white when it is dry, and when it is moist, it is yellowish in color. So, and also take note if the sample has varying colors or patches. Next is the odor. So you have to describe the odor if it is organic or unusual. So, in addition, soils containing a significant amount of organic material usually have a distinctive odor of decaying vegetation. So, this is apparent in fresh samples, but if the samples are dried, the odor may often be revived by heating a moistened sample. If the odor is unusual, so such as the petroleum product, chemical, and the like, it shall also be described. Fifth is the moisture condition. So we can describe the moisture condition as dry, moist, or wet. So if it is dusty or dry to the touch, it is dry. If it is damp but no visible water, that is moist. And if it visible free water, so and is usually if the soil is below the water table, we can describe that as wet. So next is the hydrochloric acid reaction or HCl reaction. So we can describe that as non-weak or strong. So if there is no visible reaction, state none. If there are some reaction or with bubbles slowly forming, that is weak. And if the reaction is violent and with bubbles forming immediately, that is a strong reaction. So Since calcium carbonate is a common cementing agent, a report of its presence on the basis of the reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid is important. So, in diluting hydrochloric acid, we will use 1 part hydrochloric acid and 3 parts water. And you have to take note that you have to slowly add the acid to the water and not the water to the acid. So, you also have to handle with caution and store it safely. If the reaction comes in contact with the skin, you have to rinse it thoroughly with water. Next is the consistency. So for intact, fine-grained soils, we have to describe the consistency as very soft, firm, hard, or very hard. So the descriptions, or the criteria rather, is provided by table 5. So this refers to the penetration. And next we have the cementation. So this is for the intact coarse-grained soils. So we have to describe that as weak, moderate, or strong. So we will be using the criteria as to how this soil will crumble or break. So next is we have the structure. So we will use the table 7 for the criteria for describing structure. So we either have stratified, laminated, fissured, slicken-sided, blocky, lensed, or homogeneous. So stratified, if it has alternating layers of varying material or color with layers at least 6 mm thick. And you also have to note the thickness. So next is the laminated. So it has alternating layers of varying material color with the layers less than 6 mm thick. You also have to note the thickness. Next is fissured. If it breaks along definite planes of fracture with little resistance to fracturing. Slicken-sided or fracture planes appear polished or glossy, sometimes striated. So, blocky, the cohesive soil can be broken down into small angular lumps which resist to further breakdown. So, lensed, there is an inclusion of small pocket of different soils such as small lenses of sand scattered through a nest of clay. So you also have to note the thickness on that. And lastly, if the sample has the same color and appearance throughout, that could be described as homogeneous. Next is the range. So we have to describe the range of the particles within each component. So we will be using the definition that we have discussed earlier. So, for example, about 20% fine to coarse gravel, but about 20% fine to coarse gravel, about 40% fine to coarse sand. So Next is the maximum particle size. So we could describe the maximum particle size as sand size, gravel size, or cobble or boulder. So if the maximum particle size is a sand size, we could describe that as coarse, medium, or fine. And next for the gravel, we could describe that as coarse and fine. And lastly, for the cobble or boulder size, if the maximum particle size is a cobble or boulder size, you have to describe the maximum dimension of the largest particle. So, for example, maximum dimension is 18 inches or 450 mm. So, next is you have to describe the hardness. So, you have to describe the hardness of the coarse sand and larger particles as hard, or state what happens when the particles are hit by a hammer. So for example, the gravel-sized particles fracture with considerable hammer blow. Some gravel-sized particles crumble with hammer blow. So hard means that the particles do not crack, fracture, or crumble under a hammer blow. Next is you also have to add additional comments. Add the local or commercial name or geologic interpretation if identified as such. And also you may add or use the other classification system. So next is the identification of pit. So if the sample is primarily composed of vegetable tissue in various stages of decomposition, and if it has a fibrous to amorphous texture, and its color is usually dark brown to black and has an organic odor, shall be designated as a highly organic soil and shall be identified as pit, or so the abbreviation for pit is PT. And if it is classified as such, so the sample should not be subjected to the identification procedures described hereafter. So, next is we have the preparation for identification. So the first step is we have to remove the particles larger than 75 mm, or the particles larger than 3 inches. So the particles larger than 3 inches or 75 mm must be removed manually for a loose sample or mentally for an intact sample before classifying the soil. Next is to estimate and note the percentage of cobbles and the percentage of boulders. So this is performed visually, and these estimates will be on the basis of volume percentage. Next is the fraction of the soil smaller than 3 inches. So you have to estimate and note the percentage by dry weight of the gravel, sand, and fines. So in the succeeding parts of this discussion, we'll be discussing about the suggested procedures for estimating the percentages of fines, sands, and gravel. So, take note that the percentages shall be estimated to the closest 5%. So, also, the percentages of gravel, sand, and fines must add up to 100%. If one of the components is present but not insufficient quantity to be considered 5% of the smaller than 3 inches or 75 mm portion, so you have to indicate its presence by the term trace. So, for example, trace of fines. A trace is not to be considered in the total of 100% for the components. So, we have to conduct a preliminary identification to identify if the soil is fine-grained or coarse-grained. So, if it contains 50% or more fines, 50% or more fines, it is fine-grained. And if it contains less than 50% fines, you have to identify that as coarse-grained.